Marvel fans, it's your mans, Armand, back again. And this time, word on these internet streets, here for E equals MCU, is that the Deadpool 3 writers have reacted to almost being replaced by Marvel Studios. And I made a video about this a couple of months ago as far as why I explained why Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds was winning with Marvel Studios. And in order to kind of get into that, we have to go through the timeline before we get into what these guys said. When the Fox characters first came over to Marvel Studios, there were reports coming out that Ryan Reynolds was bumping heads with the Marvel Studio execs, and I think they just had different visions maybe for what they wanted to do. Shortly after that, there was an announcement of the writers from where were they from? I'm sorry. Here, let me pull it up here. But they hired two writers, Wendy Molyneux and Lizzie Molyneux Loegland. So they must be sisters or something. They were from Bob's Burgers. Okay. So they were the Bob's Burgers writers, and this was announced that they would be writing Deadpool 3. So we were like, okay, cool. Ryan Reynolds comes out and says that he's working with those two and they're, getting things going. And then the release of Free Guy came out. And with that release being under the Disney banner, although it was shot under Fox, this is one of the movies they acquired. I think it gave Ryan Reynolds a little bit more pull. Okay. And what happened from there is that we got the director from Free Guy hired basically to Sean Levy was hired to be the director of Deadpool 3. Great synergy, and as you can see there with Korg and Deadpool and everything, there's a lot of synergy going on right now at Marvel Studios. And then it was shortly after that, it was shortly announced that Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick were coming back to replace those Bob Burgers writers. Now, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick are the original writers of Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. So it looks like Ryan Reynolds has his team that he originally worked with on the original Deadpool and the Deadpool 2. I mean, aside from the directors, the two directors were different, but he has this creative team in place, and he got his way essentially. And it sounds like he's getting his way with making the movie he wants to make with these guys. As they go on to say, and this is Reese and Wernick talking about being replaced. Okay, now this is what they said. They say, yeah, that did happen. And look, it just came down the way it did. But we're thrilled to be back in this, and that we're thrilled to be back, and that is the bottom line. We just couldn't be happier where we are now in the mad scientist lab creating fun stuff, and hopefully we'll get a movie out to you guys soon. Then he goes on to say between the marriage between Fox and Disney and then the promising of merging those two worlds, he says, we want to make it great. We're in the laboratory working out with Ryan Reynolds all the time, and we're very much entertaining ourselves. So hopefully that translates to ultimately will entertain the world. But it's a marriage between Fox and Disney, and it's two different universes, and it's not easy. But it's also a wonderful challenge and high class problems to be able to merge those worlds. So we're enjoying it. Now, to take a break from what he's saying here, it sounds like he's saying that it's still Fox and Disney, and they're going to be tasked with merging the worlds between the Fox universe and the MCU. And one thing that stands about what he's saying is that they're very much going to acknowledge the world they created in the Fox universe and then somehow bring that over and merge it with the MCU universe. Now, keep in mind, this will be the first Fox X-Men property to appear in the MCU, as we haven't gotten any X-Men yet. Aside from, I don't even want to talk about Boner. So let's just move on. So the interviewer then asked, what has been delaying the film and questioned whether the rated R nature of the franchise or Deadpool's mutant nature is a factor, to which Reese said yes and no. But he did calm concerns about bringing the mark with the mouth to the MCU, promising that Disney is gonna let Deadpool be Deadpool. So he also says that Marvel Studios has offered their support. Reese promised that they have been eager to help, making their life easier, and offered up content from the MCU for use, so they're able to play in that sandbox. People, that's what that means. He says, it's been nothing but how can we help you? What from our universe would you like to use? How can we make your life easy? And we're going to let Deadpool be Deadpool. We're not. This is not going to be the Disney-fied Deadpool. So they're awesome. And now it's up to us to come through and justify that faith. And then Reese concluded by reaffirming past statements. Deadpool will absolutely still be rated R, and Disney will not mess with the tone. There is a small chance that may change. He said that they're not going to mess with the tone, but I'll never say never. They've always been told that it can be rated R, and we're proceeding as if it is R. We would like it to be R. We always have, so I don't think that will change. So this is an interview that he gave on it, just kind of giving an update. And basically my takeaways from it is basically that the reason why they brought in the original writers is so that they could keep the tone. It's going to be hard R. Some of the things in it may change as far as some of the jokes and stuff, but for the most part, I think it's going to be the same. We're going to get the same Deadpool, and Marvel's going to let them pretty much run the reins. Because I mean, you think about it, when it comes to introducing the X-Men to the MCU, what they do in Deadpool 3 is going to have ramifications. So it sounds like Feige is loosening his reign just in general, with recent examples of the Multiverse of Madness thing, with letting Raimi do his thing. And it sounds like he's doing that across the board with a lot of the IP and the properties. So they're going to be introducing X-Men. I want to know how you guys feel about that. For me personally, I like that, because Deadpool's universe in the Fox universe was more X-Men, and he had the X-Men right, specifically Colossus, better than they ever did it before under the previous regime at Fox. So I'm excited for that. I'm happy for that. I'd like to see where it goes. Hopefully we get Juggernaut and a lot of the characters back. We get Cable, we get Domino, and then they'll all be integrated into the MCU. So let me know how you guys feel. Are you concerned? Are you this not good news for you? Is it good news, great news, or you're in a wait and see mode? Whatever that may be, let me know down in the comment section. And this is Armand out for E = MCU, word on these internet streets. Peace.